Mirror check. Is your hair pulling your face down? If your crown looks flatter, your jawline reads wider, or your cut clashes with your glasses and collars, the problem isn't you, it's the architecture. Stay with me for 5 surgeon-free haircuts that lift your features, put movement back where it matters, and cut styling time in half so you still look like yourself, only brighter. This episode is for women 50 and 60 plus who want elegant, low-effort hair that works with real life. Readers, high necklines, midday humidity, and the texture shifts that come with time. I'll walk you through 5 precise cuts, who they flatter by face shape and hair density, quick at-home tests to confirm your choice, a short salon script you can hand your stylist, and small checklists you can screenshot for your next appointment. We'll use our golden after 60 frameworks. Value contrast 70/30 for lift without puff, texture stacking for movement that lasts past lunch, and the face-framing trifecta so hairline, eyewear, and neckline cooperate instead of compete. If age-positive, results-driven beauty is your lane, keep watching, save this to bring to your stylist, and tell me in the comments your face shape and hair type. I'll reply with a tailored starting point. Secret number 1. The soft layered bob, polished movement without the heaviness. The soft layered bob delivers polished movement without heaviness. Think chin to collarbone, with internal layering that lightens the inside of the cut while preserving a clean, full outline. That architecture lets hair bend and float instead of hanging like a curtain, so the silhouette reads denser at the ends and springier through the mid-lengths. Curving the tips slightly inward redirects the viewer's eye toward the cheekbones, always a fresher focal point, and keeping the back a touch shorter than the front builds a subtle lift that resists midday collapse. This shape is remarkably forgiving. Round faces look longer if the line sits just below the chin. Oval faces can run a bit shorter. Square faces soften when the face frame is feathered. Fine to medium strands, straight to softly wavy textures, and anyone in glasses benefit from the clean, non-competing perimeter. There's a practical reason this works so well after 50. Hair density and fiber diameter tend to decline with age. Several studies describe thinner shafts beginning around the 4th decade, which is one reason a one-length bob can start to feel heavy yet look flat. A layered interior refunds visual fullness without fraying the outline. Menopause can further alter the follicle environment and growth cycles, contributing to loss of volume and changes in texture. Another cue to let the cut, not heat tools, create the lift. And if you're worried about seeing a few strands in the brush, remember that shedding 50-100 hairs a day is considered normal by dermatology guidelines. Try a quick at-home test. Stand sideways at a mirror and note where your ends land relative to the softest part of your jaw. If they hit exactly at that low-definition zone, the line can widen your face. Move the perimeter just above or just below, and you'll see a crisper jaw and a lighter expression. Client proof. Linda, 62, a registered nurse, came in with a blunt bob that made her cheeks look fuller. We softened the interior, added a whisper of forward angle, and turned the ends in with a small round brush. At her reunion, friends asked if she'd had fillers. She hadn't, she just had the right line. My own pivot in my 60s was similar. I'd worn a one-length bob for years. Switching to internal layers gave me back the bounce I thought I'd lost, and my morning routine dropped to 3 focused minutes around the face. Before you book, ask yourself, do your frames dominate your face, or does your hair frame your features? Where do your ends sit, above, on, or below the jaw? Are you an air-dry person or a quick blow-dry person? Your answers fine-tune the perimeter and the amount of interior layering. Read this to your stylist. Soft layered bob just below the chin, internal layering for movement, perimeter left visually full, slight forward length, ends that can tuck in. One caution, don't over-thin the ends. Wispy tips make fine hair look tired, not youthful. If you're craving even more lift with even less styling time, the next option, the Pixie with side-swept bangs, builds crown height and cheekbone focus in minutes. Secret number 2. The Pixie with side-swept bangs, structure, lift, and instant chic. A modern Pixie with a soft diagonal fringe and crown height is the fastest way to trade heaviness for lift. Keep the sides and nape neat, leave the top a touch longer, and let the fringe skim the brows on a bias. That short versus long contrast is what makes the top read fuller. Think of it as value contrast in haircut form. Calm at the sides, lift at the crown. The diagonal fringe pulls the eye toward the pupils and cheekbones instead of straight across the forehead, softening expression lines without hiding your face. Lightly reducing bulk at the nape keeps the shape up and out rather than collapsing forward as the day goes on. This matters more after menopause, when hair diameter tends to decrease and growth cycles shorten. You're not imagining it if the same length suddenly feels limp. The fiber itself can be finer. And for perspective, shedding 5,100 hairs a day is normal, so building the illusion of density with architecture is just as important as products. For crown balance, I use a classic pro check. The most flattering crown height usually falls within the space between the outer brow tip and the hairline directly above it. Aim your blow-dry lift there. Who thrives with this cut? Oval, heart, and longer faces get instant structure. Round faces keep the fringe a touch longer to visually slim. Fine or thinning hair loves the short sides/long top recipe because it concentrates fullness where the eye reads youthful. If you wear glasses, a side-swept fringe glides over frames without that bangs stuck on lenses look. Try this at home before you book. Sweep your current fringe diagonally and pinch lift the crown with 2 fingers while you look straight into the mirror. If your eyes pop and your jawline looks cleaner, you're a Pixie candidate. When I turned 60, my salt and pepper bob started parking on my cheekbones. A soft Pixie with brow-skimming fringe and a subtle crown bump fixed it overnight. My readers looked intentional, not medical, and my blow-dry time halved. A client of mine, Dana, 67, felt her silver faded on camera, with a Pixie, crown lift, and whispery fringe. Her gray looked luxe and her face lit up on Zoom. Tell your stylist exactly what you want. A Pixie with a soft diagonal fringe, visible crown volume, and tidy sides, no harsh lines. Keep the top long enough to sweep and the fringe long enough to skim the brows. Then keep styling simple. A golf ball of lightweight mousse at the roots, a round brush push at the crown into that brow to hairline zone, and a pea-size paste tapped at the crown seam for staying power. Skip cutting the fringe blunt and too short. That flattens the top and hardens the expression. If you like the airy lift of a Pixie but want more length and movement, slide with me into secret number 3, the shoulder-length shag, where blended layers create easy texture without daily heat. Secret number 3, the shoulder-length shag, effortless texture and face framing. The shoulder-length shag delivers effortless texture and intelligent face framing in one move. Think of a shoulder-grazing silhouette with blended, strategic layers and a soft, optional curtain frame. The magic is optical as much as mechanical. Interior layering creates subtle micro-shadows that read as fullness. Light movement at the temples and cheekbones pulls the eye diagonally upward, so the face looks fresher. And because the perimeter sits at the shoulder line, hair springs off the collarbone instead of dragging the features down. That design is especially relevant after 50, when many of us notice visible thinning not only from shedding patterns but from age-related biology. About 30 million U.S. Women live with hereditary hair loss, so building scene density is practical, not vanity. The growth, anagen, phase also shortens with age, which contributes to hair that looks weaker and less bouncy. Smart layering helps restore movement without relying on heat. Diameter and density trend downward across midlife as well, which means cut architecture does more of the lifting than products can. Who benefits most? Oval, long, and heart faces. Round faces do well when the face frame is left a touch longer and tapered, so it slims rather than widens. Fine to medium hair loves this because layers supply motion that the fiber can't create on its own, and natural waves look especially alive. Glasses are no problem. The face frame pieces sit around the temple and skim the frames without visual clutter. Try this at home. Twist a 1-inch section at the temple and let it drop. If it falls straight and blankets your cheekbone, you're a prime shag candidate. If it springs outward and reveals your cheekbone, ask your stylist for minimal layering so you don't overthin. For my chair and my mirror, I'm a 61-year-old with fine, softly wavy hair and progressive lenses. After years with a blunt lob that looked perfect for 20 minutes and heavy the rest of the day, I switched to a shoulder shag with gentle temple layers. I air dry with a golf ball of mousse, scrunch once, and walk out the door. Within a week, 3 women at Pilates asked what I'd done to my skin. Nothing. The lift and texture simply redirected the eye to my mid-face, which is exactly what this cut is designed to do. Bring this to your appointment. Shoulder-length shag with blended layers, movement, not choppiness, and a soft face frame that can style like light curtain pieces. Afterward, ask yourself, do you mostly air dry or blow dry? Are you team shag or team bob this year? And for my glasses wearers, do your front pieces fight your frames? Tell me below so I can tailor the next edit. Now, if you crave polish with zero fuss, keep going. Secret number 4 explores a chin-length blunt edge with a softened interior that sharpens the jawline without sacrificing movement. Secret number 4, the chin-length blunt with soft interior, clean edge, subtle fullness. The chin-length blunt with soft interior is a precision bob that creates a clean, continuous edge for density while quietly removing a touch of bulk inside, so the hair swings instead of sitting boxy. That crisp horizontal line at the chin acts like a frame for the jaw and neck, the visual equivalent of sharpening the outline of a portrait, so the jaw reads neater and the neck looks a little longer. Gentle interior softening allows the ends to curve slightly inward as you blow dry, which brings movement and a friendly, polished energy rather than a stiff block. Tuck one side behind the ear and you add just enough asymmetry to modernize the silhouette and open the face. For many of us, this structure is more than a style choice. It's strategy. Women commonly perceive a drop in hair amount beginning in the mid-40s with a further dip by the mid to late 50s, even when true density or diameter alone doesn't explain the change. A strong perimeter helps counter that perception by keeping the outline visually full. Dermatology texts also note that aging is associated with a reduction in hair shaft diameter, which can make ends look more see-through unless the cut reinforces them with a solid edge. This cut shines on square and heart faces because the interior softening keeps edges kind, and it's equally elegant on oval faces worn mini-short. If your face is round, ask your stylist to drop the line just below the widest part of your cheeks to slim the canvas. It favors fine to medium hair that's straight or softly wavy and plays beautifully with glasses. The perimeter stays smooth so the arms of your frames don't fight bulk at the temples. Try a 30-second at-home test. Hold a sheet of paper along your jaw and look at the ends. If they splay outward, they're widening your face. If they tip inward toward the chin point, you'll see instant polish. That's the angle to aim for with your brush and airflow. At 61, I kept loving my silver, but the sides puffed the moment I put on a turtleneck. We trimmed to exact chin length, softened inside, not on the edge, and I tuck the left side when I'm in readers. My jaw looked firmer on camera the very next day, and my morning routine fell to under 6 minutes. Bring this to your appointment. I'd like a chin-length blunt bob with a clean, strong edge and light interior softening so it swings. Please avoid heavy external texturizing. I want density at the perimeter with movement inside. One caution: don't razor the perimeter on fine hair. It frays the line and steals the youthful density you're building. Tell me in the comments, which side would you tuck so your frames sit cleanly, and would you go 1/4 to 1/2 inch shorter to clear collars? If you want to keep your length but lose the drag, stay with me. Next, we'll adapt the same facelifting logic to long hair with curtain bangs in secret number 5. Secret number 5. Long layers with curtain bangs. Keep the length, lose the drag. Keep your length, but give it architecture. Long hair without internal structure drags the face down. Graduated layers act like scaffolding so the hair floats and rebounds instead of pooling at the chest. Add curtain bangs, parted center or slightly off-center, and you instantly reduce the forehead's visual real estate while directing attention to the eyes and upper cheekbones, the very zones our gaze prioritizes when reading faces. The result is a softer, romantic C-shaped frame that echoes your cheekbone line and lightens the jaw. Who thrives with this cut? Heart and oval faces almost always. Square faces do best with a longer, whispery curtain to soften the jaw. Round faces should keep the face frame longer than the chin to avoid adding width. Medium to thick hair, straight to wavy, gets the cleanest result. If you wear glasses, ask for a slightly higher part and a split that clears your frames so the fringe and temples don't compete. A 60-second at-home test. Create a faux curtain by parting your hair and blow sweeping just the 2 front pieces back over a round brush. If your eyes look brighter and your jawline lighter, you're a prime candidate for long layers plus a curtain fringe. That face shows up moment is common for women in their 50s and 60s as hair density shifts with hormonal change. Layering restores movement without thinning the ends. From my own chair and my own life. I'm 61 and I clung to one-length hair because it felt feminine. On Zoom, it read like a curtain. I kept the length, removed weight in the lower third, and added a mid-curtain that skimmed my brows. The next day, 3 friends asked if I'd changed my makeup. I hadn't. The frame simply pushed focus to my eyes. And if you're seeing more strands in the brush, remember it's normal to shed roughly 50-100 hairs per day. What matters is pattern change, not the side of hair in the sink. Say this in the salon: long layers that remove weight from the lower third, blended, no choppy steps, and curtain bangs that split softly around my brows with the front pieces curving into a gentle C. Then maintain the illusion of fullness at home. Lift at the crown with a light mousse, define mid-lengths with a touch of texture spray, and keep ends conditioned so the perimeter looks substantial rather than wispy. If your strands are fine, resist the urge to overlayer. You'll trade movement for transparency. Questions for you, tell me below. Are you team curtain or team no bangs? And what's your biggest concern about making the switch? If your ponytail feels thinner than 5 years ago, where does your hair look heaviest? Top, middle, or bottom? Your answers will help me tailor the next segment. Next step. With your length now working for your features, let's compare the 2 biggest lift engines. The soft layered bob and the shoulder-length shag, so you can choose the one that saves you the most styling time. Let's turn these into clean, expert guidance you can read straight to camera. No fluff, just what works. Start by stacking texture intelligently. Use one product to lift and one to define, nothing more. A light volumizing mousse at the roots creates expansion where the eye reads youth, around the crown and cheekbones, while a texturizing or sea salt spray through the mid-lengths and ends gives micro-separation so hair doesn't collapse into a sheet. That balance matters more after 50 because strand diameter and density tend to decrease with age, so you're creating optical fullness without puffiness. I learned this at 61 after months of noonday flatness. The day I quit layering 3 hold products and went lift plus define, my bob held through a 6-hour volunteer shift. What's your go-to duo right now? Exact product names, please, so we can crowdsource combinations that survive real life. Make the face-framing trifecta automatic. Hairline, eyewear, neckline must cooperate. If your frames are bold, keep the first inch of the face frame softer and a touch longer so your glasses can lead. If your neckline is high, a turtleneck, a collar, add a bit more height at the crown so fabric doesn't steal your silhouette. That's how you keep the eye traveling up and in, not widening at the jaw. Perception data are clear. The way we distribute hair amount, diameter plus density, changes how people read fullness and, by extension, overall youthfulness. When I swapped into cat-eye readers last year, I softened my front layers by 1/4 inch and my frames finally looked intentional, not crowded. Are you team bold frames or minimal frames? Tell me your frame shape and I'll suggest a matching face frame in the comments. Lock in the 2-finger crown rule. After blow drying, you should see roughly 2 fingers of airy lift at the crown, daylight between hair and scalp. If you're not getting it, size down your round brush and direct airflow upward at the roots, then seal with a cool shot. The American Academy of Dermatology is unambiguous about limiting heat exposure and using lower settings. The cool phase helps you set shape without piling on more heat. Pro stylists increasingly point to a final cool burst to lock the finish and smooth the cuticle, extending hold without extra damage. My own mistake at 58 was a giant brush that polished but flattened. A smaller barrel plus a 10-second cool pass gave me that hotel blowout lift in under 3 minutes. Hold up 2 fingers at your crown. Do you see air? If not, what brush size are you using? Here's the fast morning map. For fine hair, work golf ball size mousse at the roots, rough dry to about 80%, tap a fingertip of texturizing paste into the crown seam, and mist a light dry texture spray underneath lifted sections, not on top, before a cool shot. That underside support holds better on fine hair because you're building scaffolding, not shellac. Fine-haired friends, does paste or powder hold your crown longer by lunch? For wavy hair, scrunch and foam, twist the 2 face pieces away from your face, air dry to 80%, then diffuse for 2 minutes to set root direction and stop frizz before it starts. Use lower heat and finish cool. It's classic, dermatologist-approved damage control. For silver hair, keep the crown matte so lift reads stronger and put just a pea-size shine cream on the ends. Gray often feels drier/coarser due to structural changes, so you want slip on the tips without flattening the base. And cap your heat, 1 hot tool per day, either the round brush or the curling wand, and keep settings conservative. Dermatologists advise low to medium heat and minimal contact time. Retire 3 small habits that age hair fast. First, stop excessive thinning. Over-texturizing strips the density signal that reads youthful, a particularly unkind move when diameter and density already trend down with age. Keep ends substantial and create movement with interior debulking instead. Second, watch your fabric line. If your turtlenecks or stand collars grab your ends and collapse your shape, raise the perimeter by a 1/2 inch to 1 inch or add gentle graduation so hair clears the collar. Third, open the face. When hair hides your cheekbones and eyes, you dim your built-in spotlights. Shift the first inch of the face frame looser and longer, then trade a bit more crown lift to keep the gaze high. That simple reframing leverages what we know about perceived hair amount and focus. Which of those 3 habits surprised you most, and which one will you drop this week? If things still go sideways, rescue the shape in under 2 minutes. For a bob that flips out, ask for internal beveling at your next cut. Then dry with the nozzle under the section so air guides ends inward. Finish the last inch with a 1-inch brush and a cool shot to set the curve without more heat. When a pixie falls flat by noon, lift small crown sections and mist a lightweight dry texture spray underneath, never on top, and press with fingers for 5 to 7 seconds to set. For a shag that looks messy instead of intentional, you likely need softer blending. Ask your stylist to connect layers so they flow, then at home emulsify a pea-sized styling cream and pinch only the flyaways. Remember, aging hair often has a smaller average diameter, so too many short layers can read stringy. If long layers feel heavy at the bottom, remove weight inside the lower third with point or slide cutting while keeping the perimeter strong. You'll free movement where gravity pulls most without sacrificing the youthful, dense outline. A few benchmarks help you calibrate expectations. Normal shedding runs roughly 50 to 100 hairs a day. More than that suggests a shedding event you should discuss with a dermatologist. Average growth is about 1/2 inch a month, 4 to 6 inches a year, so plan your timeline accordingly and be skeptical of miracle promises. And accept that hair's biology changes with time. Multiple studies document age-related shifts in diameter and density, which is exactly why we lean on smart placement, lift, and face framing instead of fighting your texture. When your products each do a single job, when glasses and necklines stop competing with your face, and when crown height is measurable, styling gets faster and hair looks younger without trying. 2 questions to take to the mirror tomorrow morning. Where can I reclaim 2 fingers of air at my crown, and what one tweak, softening the first inch of my face frame, raising my perimeter a 1/2 inch, or moving my lift product to the roots only, would give me the biggest return? Then tell me what you changed and how it held up through your real day. I'll be in the comments troubleshooting with you. Remember these 5 truths. Line placement lifts the face, where your ends sit either sharpen the jaw or drag it down. Movement beats length. A little internal architecture creates youthful bounce with less heat and less effort. Contrast creates interest. Pair a smooth finish with airy crown lift so the eye travels up. Think 70/30 value contrast. Face frame, eyewear, and neckline must agree. If 2 are bold, keep the 3rd soft. And your cut should do the heavy lifting. Products are there to support, not to headline. If one of these cuts sparked a quiet yes, take the Salon Script to your next appointment and make it yours. I'm here every week with beauty that respects your time, your wisdom, and your style. If this was useful, subscribe to Golden After 60, comment the direction you're leaning, Team Shag, Team Bob, Team Pixie, or Curtain Crew, and save this video to show your stylist the checklists. Share it with a friend who's ready for a gentle lift. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.